Hi guys, Mike Lee Connect. Movement is life. It is Tuesday, and Tuesday is Double Tap Tuesday. Anyway, today's Double Tap is answering a question I've been asked a few times in the last few weeks. Okay, the question is, sir, I'm finally going to invest into buying a long distance weapon. Should I buy a Tavor or should I buy an UZI? Okay, or UZI Pro. Okay, a few years ago, it was all about M4s through the IPTT program that Garrett put together. It's a splendid program. It's still running. Everything we do with Glocks is basically IPTT from what Garrett brought to the table. In my unit in Oref Golani, we did not have Glocks. Therefore, Garrett came in. He's a Duvdevan operator. He's an undercover operator, and they work with Glock. And half of the IPTT program is Glocks. The other half is M4s because his unit used M4s. But a few years ago, I went to work and I invested into developing the Tavor Club. It's been going on for about 4.5 years. The first about year was not involved with students. It was me basically getting acquainted with the Tavor and getting real good at it and doing a lot of research on weapon manipulations through my resources of reaching out to operators in Israel in several units. And I designed the Tavor Club for the organization. That club has been going on very strong. It's a club that meets every last Saturday of the month for 2 hours of dry fire. The first hour of dry fire is weapon manipulation, threat, jam 1, jam 2, magazine change, threat right, threat left, tango in the crowd. Basically, basic weapon manipulation and techniques for you to be able to use the weapon in combat. Okay, the second hour of Tavor Club is scenarios. I basically will build a scenario for the day with milk crates and pads and all this. I have a system. It's very curricularized, and I'll build a curriculum and we'll work scenarios. That club also meet once a year for live fire, and then we do the scenarios at Lockwoods live fire. The club has been a success. Every member in the club is very happy with it. It's been going on for 3.5 years. There's even a version of the club, a group of the club in the Northeast led by Ed Duplessis, the HVH Northeast Tavor Club. They're doing identically what we're doing down here, and the club is doing as strong as the one in Florida, so kudos to Ed Duplessis. But what happened is 2 years ago, one of the students of Ed Duplessis, his name is Tin Man, we'll leave it at that, his name is Tin Man, got an UZI Pro. And traditionally an UZI has a charging handle, the old UZI, on top, so you couldn't put a Mepro light on it. And it was basically a spraying weapon. You go in the room and you spray fucking everybody, okay? But when he got his Mepro, when he got his UZI Pro, it intrigued me because the charging handle is on the side like a Tavor, and now you can put a Mepro on that UZI. That is a game changer all by itself. In other words, now that UZI, or the UZI Pro, that's the one with the brace that you can open and close, is an accurate long distance weapon because of the Mepro light. Because once you have that Mepro zeroed, whatever the fucking that orange dot is going, is the bullet is going. Okay, so it really intrigued me, and I decided to open an attachment club to my Tavor Club, which is called UZI Does It. So now there's about, I would say, 8 people in my school that invested in buying UZI Pros, and after Tavor Club, they stay for another hour and a half for UZI Does It. Okay, so they'll do 45 minutes weapon manipulation, and then they'll do 45 minutes the scenarios that they did earlier that morning with Tavors. They just do it with UZIs. So what's happening now is everybody's falling in love with UZIs because it's much a smaller weapon, which makes it a lighter weapon, and it's got the same accuracy. Not only that, if you take UZI Pro's 32 round magazines, you can build UZI Tzolevet. So essentially now you got a Tzolevet on an UZI, which is the same firepower quantity of a Tavor Tzolevet, and you have a Mepro light, but the weapon is lighter and more compact, so therefore you can actually fight more ergonomically. Not only that, I can take an UZI, fold that brace, put it in a little backpack or sling pack, and you won't know I have an Uzi in there, versus if you put that Tavor into a bag, and even if it's one of those so-called gray man bag, it's huge, it's suspicious. What the fuck are you walking around with a bag like that? Versus the Uzi is very compact. So back to the question, should you buy a Tavor or should you buy an Uzi? The answer is in the budget. If you have the budget to have both weapons, I recommend you buy first the Tavor, and you get really good at the Tavor, and then you, about at least 6 months later, if not a year later, my guys were doing a Tavor club for about 2.5 years before they got introduced to the Uzi. About a year later, you get the Uzi and you start having the Uzi as well. That's if you have the budget for both. So what that does is you go for the big weapon first, and then you go down to the smaller weapon, and it'll be an easy transition. If you buy the Uzi first and then you go up to the Tavor, you might get into a position that like, oh man, I love my Uzi better, fuck this Tavor, and now you invest in Tavor for nothing. Okay, personally, I like the Tavor better, but I'm a big weapon guy. I had a MAG. A MAG is a belt-fed 762 Fabrique Nationale Belgium weapon that's used in all infantry weapon units in Israel, and it's a big fucking weapon. So to me, to go down to Tavor is easy. But some people, Tavor is heavy, it's hard for them to rack it, blah, blah, blah. So you're better off going first to that, then going down to the Uzi. However, if you have budget only for one, go for the Uzi. Why? Once the Mepro is on it, it's the same accuracy as a Tavor, especially for self-defense scenarios, in a street fighting scenario, in a parking lot, or a home invasion. It'll do the same work as a Tavor as far as accuracy. Number two, you got that Solevet. You can make a Solevet out of an Uzi, therefore same firepower, but it's much lighter of a weapon, and it's also a little bit cheaper. So if you're only gonna buy one, buy the Guzzi Pro. Make sure it's the one with the brace that folds, not the one that's without, because then you can't be accurate, and then you'll have to put a Mepro light on it. If you get Mepro, okay, so let's talk Mepro here, right? Some people have been buying fucking knockoff Mepros, and then we go to Lockwood and we go to zero them, and you can't even fucking zero them because they're made in fucking China. It's a knockoff. The dot is red, not orange, and there's no way to zero those fucking sights. Buy Mepro light, real Mepro 21 reticles. Do not buy the Bullseye, because the Bullseye, once the target is far away, you won't be able to have an accurate shot. Don't buy the triangle one either, because you're not fucking Predator. You're fucking human being. You don't have the you one ugly motherfucker. You're not Predator. You're not. So don't buy the triangle. Buy the dots. There's one dot that's a small dot. If you have 20/20 vision, buy the small dot. If your vision's not that good, buy the dot that's a little bit bigger. Do not buy the Bullseye. Do not buy the triangle. Buy the dot. Mepro light. Mepro 21. Doesn't need battery. It's a workhorse. It's what's used in Israel in every fucking infantry unit. It's a workhorse. Okay, so that's the one you get. All right, guys. So again, if you're gonna get one, get the Guzzi Pro, the one with the brace. If you're gonna get two, get the Tavor first. Start off with the Tavor. Start off with the Tavor, and then go to Uzi. Don't try to master both weapons at the same time. They are not parallel in mindset. In other words, completely different weapon manipulations. For an example, a Tavor, when it's empty, the bolt stays in the back, just like an M4. The Uzi, when it's empty, doesn't stay back. You got to rack it again. So it's a completely different mindset. If you learn the two weapons parallel to each other, you're actually never going to be good at one of them. You're going to be okay at both of them. First master one. So again, if you have budget for two, Tavor first. If you're only going to buy one long distance weapon that's used for accuracy, buy the Guzzi Pro. All right, guys, great double tap today. A lot of people asking me how I'm doing with my recovery. It's going great. I got full range of motion. It's weaker on this side and this side. Obviously, this side has not been used for 6 weeks. It is what it is, but every day I'm getting stronger. I can't wait for 2020. By January, I'll be back to normal. I'm so fucking lucky. Movement is life. Go get it.